Hi everyone, welcome back to another video where today I just want to go over a couple of the little bits of news that dropped surrounding the trailer. Obviously yesterday was very much caught up in the trailer, and I'm hoping to get a video out tomorrow talking about your theories following on from the Doctor Who Season 1 or Series 14 trailer, depending on which side of that debate you're on. How some of you may even go with Season 14. I won't be joining you in that, but more power to you. But yeah, we're going to be talking about Russell T Davies' tease for the series, as well as a little bit talk about things regarding Stephen Moffat's return, as well as the decision by Chris Chibnall, former showrunner, not to come back. We're going to be talking about the Disney Plus release and the different picture quality, and that basically being explained for any of you who don't know, and a couple of other bits and bobs, including brand new comics and other really cool stuff. So stay tuned. This is going to be a news bulletin for today. Please like if you enjoyed, that'd be greatly appreciated. We do regular Doctor Who content here on the channel, and as Doctor Who gears up for this brand new Disney era, this really is one of the best places to stay up to date and in the loop. So with that said, let's get right into it. So the first thing I'll point out was on Russell T Davies' post of the trailer. Obviously, whenever a new trailer comes out, Russell T Davies and the crew do like an Instagram post, and this one is as follows. Here we go, May 11th. So proud of Ncuti Gatwa and Millie Gibson. I mean, look at them, what blazing stars, and this is just the beginning. We have epic tales to come alongside the most intimate and heartfelt stories too. Monsters, gods, villains, babies, and a very precise distance coming soon. So yeah, that's his tease for Series 14, Season 1. And yeah, I think it sounds really good. Obviously, we know about the babies from, I believe, the first episode. That's what we believe to be the first episode. Monsters and gods, again, gods, I'm assuming that's referring to Jinx Monsoon's musical character. Villains, it's all sounding really good. I'm really liking the cosmic vibe to Series 14 and kind of this new era so far, being a lot more kind of mystical. I think it really works, and it feels fresh for a new era. Like, it feels like, obviously, with each new era, it kind of does something to distinguish itself, or at least in like the mind of the public, right? So obviously for RTD1, I think one of the major things you noticed about it was how relatively grounded it was compared to classic series. For example, it focused a lot more on family dynamics and Earth-based stories. With Moffat, he went a lot more fairy tale with it and a lot more, adventurous with it in that way. Chibnall, I couldn't really tell you. I think you could probably say that he was more lore-focused than the other two, possibly. And with RTD2, the focus seems to be with the kind of cosmic and, I guess, mythical elements of Doctor Who, and the more difficult-to-explain elements of Doctor Who, which I really, really like. It's a new direction, and I think it works. It sort of opens up the show for new viewers, and I really like it. I also wanted to follow up on this, so obviously a few days ago, it was announced that Stephen Moffat is returning. I did a full video on that. But one thing I didn't mention was Russell's talk about Chris Chibnall, because I mentioned in my previous video, I'm not sure whether Chibnall would want to come back, and we now have confirmation from Russell T Davies that that is indeed the case. Again, on Instagram, he says, well, I turned my back for 5 minutes, I've had a quick look, and there's a thing that does things, and a perfectly ordinary word turned into something terrifying, and it's all in outer space, and there's a woman, oh my god. So this is in reference to the Stephen Moffat episode, which once again we're assuming is episode 3. I'm assuming that's episode 3, given space and a terrifying woman, and it just seems to fit with episode 3. It is, of course, brilliant, beyond brilliant. It's an absolutely mesmerising episode. I'm lucky and proud and honoured to be working with Stephen Moffat, the great man, and to have this directed by Juliana Robertson. Overall lucky. Stephen was the second phone call I made after getting the old job back. The first was Chris Chibnall. He sent love and kisses and ran off to write his new novel. So stand back, get ready to travel with the Doctor and Ruby to the most dangerous world you can imagine. And antelope moment drums. And then a bunch of emojis that I have no idea what they mean. Obviously, this is quite common for Russell T Davies to do that, these 3-word teasers. It's something that goes way back to his first era with the letter for the showrunner segments. Really, really interesting stuff. But yeah, the interesting thing for my purposes here is that Chris Chibnall was invited back to Doctor Who by Russell. I imagine more than anything as a professional courtesy, but obviously declined. And I mean, yeah, as I said in my previous video, this makes a lot of sense. The man was writing Doctor Who for about 3 years. so I'm not really surprised that he's happy to just be done. And obviously, I don't want to get into my opinions on the Chibnall era too much, but I'm not exactly craving a Chibnall return, not only because of how recent it was, but also, to be honest, it's not my favourite style of Doctor Who. But with that having been said, I do wish Chibnall the best, and I think it's at least nice that he was offered. I mean, if you're going to offer Moffat, you kind of have to offer Chibnall, just out of courtesy, if nothing else. BBC have apparently said that viewers can expect some more reveals coming very soon, with Easter treats lined up. This was reported by TV Zone. So yeah, I'm very interested to see what this means. I'm assuming this means more marketing stuff and more little bits and bobs. I'm hoping, I think it'd be really cool if they did, like, maybe some sort of, I don't know, like, premiere for the series that maybe fans could attend. I'd just love to see it early. Not saying that'll happen, but I would love to see it early. I got very lucky with seeing the Star Beast early when that came out, and I'd love to do that again, especially with it coming out at midnight. It'd be kind of useful. But yeah, I'm hoping, little bits throughout the rest of the few months now before broadcast. That'd be very cool, including but not limited to, Russell T Davies hinted in the replies to the trailer that there will be a second trailer. Someone responded, now that's a trailer. And Russell T Davies responded, first trailer, come on, Boyd. So yeah, it looks like there is going to be at least one more trailer for Doctor Who, which actually kind of surprises me, because as much as I'm more than happy to get another trailer, I kind of feel like the one that we have already does quite a bit to sell you on the series. I don't necessarily need another trailer, but I'm not going to complain about it. Of course I'm not. Another trailer is always welcome. This was just fun. I wanted to highlight this because this was just fun. In the replies to the trailer on the Disney Doctor Who account, which, by the way, can we talk about how surreal and weird it is to have a Disney Doctor Who account? I know it's kind of inevitable, but it does feel weird, and I'm not quite used to it. But the official Avengers account responded, good taste in architecture. And obviously this is a nod to the fact that the Avengers Tower, as noted by many, many people, pretty much just looks exactly like Stark Tower or Avengers Tower, which is very, very fun. Disney Doctor Who responded, we knew you'd like it. I think this is one of the benefits of having a company like Disney on board. Because they have such a breadth of IP, it kind of means that they can leverage that towards other things, right? So, say for example, you follow the Avengers account on Instagram, and you're a Marvel fan, and you see they've commented on this show, ooh, Doctor Who, brand new season 1, and you look at it and you go, this looks really cool. It's kind of hooking in the Marvel fans in that sense. So I think that is one of the benefits to this deal. Obviously, I know a lot of people have mixed feelings on it, and I do as well. I've said before, I don't really like the midnight launch, but I do think this is having a positive impact thus far. Obviously, it's hard to gauge, but just looking at the Disney Plus YouTube channel as well, the trailer has already accrued about 1.3 million views in under 24 hours, which is by far, I think, the fastest to get to 1 million views in that time frame. The 60th did do 1 million views in 24 hours, but it took a while on that day for it to get there, if I remember correctly. So very, very strong numbers in terms of trailers. Obviously, the BBC Doctor Who one hasn't done as well. That's sitting around 300,000. My assumption for why that is because it was late, and my assumption as to why it was late, and again, this is only a guess, but obviously, for those of you who aren't aware, in the UK, it just got announced that Kate Middleton got diagnosed with cancer, and of course, whenever there's a royal announcement, the BBC kind of have to clear out some space to announce that formally, so I'm assuming that's why the BBC accounts released the trailer so much later than Disney, because obviously they have to clear a space because the BBC is the official royal channel. I'm assuming that's what that is. I could be wrong. If anyone at Doctor Who or Bad Wolf or BBC want to correct me on that, feel free. But that's my guess as to why that happened. This was interesting. So people have pointed out that in some shots the trailer looked a bit greyed out. Personally, I don't mind the look, but it turns out that they didn't convert the HDR footage to SDR before posting on socials. That's why it looks overexposed and grey. Only Disney Plus has the right version of the trailer. So yeah, here you can see side-by-side shot. This is the shot that we see, in the official release trailers. And then if you go on to Disney Plus and you have a HDR or SDR compatible screen, I'm not sure which, it'll look like this, which is a lot more obviously dynamic. And then obviously, yeah, again, comparison here and then here. So yeah, I think if any of you were wondering why it looks so washed out, and I did even say it looks like it's got a different grade, that's because the SDR version got confused with the HDR version, I think. I don't know much about screen resolutions, so I could be wrong there. I have to say though, whilst I definitely prefer the look of the dinosaur scene in the second one, I also would say I kind of prefer the look of this scene in the grayed out version as opposed to the colourful version. I think it makes it slightly more melancholic, and I think that's what this scene is going for. Let me know what you guys think. But yeah, I just thought that was an interesting thing to point out. Another interesting thing people pointed out that I didn't get to mention in my previous video was that there's actually a really cool cameo in the Series 14 trailer, and that is June Hudson. So for those of you who don't know, June Hudson was the costume designer for the Tom Baker era. She designed, like, I think, one of Tom's costumes, and it's just really cool to see her used in this way. It shows that Doctor Who is still being celebrated, and all different parts of it are being celebrated all these years later. So I thought that was a really cool thing that they did, and it was a cool thing to highlight. We also got this poster that was released shortly before the trailer, which is them in a very sort of Austin Powers-y dance move, and I love the scanline version of the logo because it very much fits that 70s sort of aesthetic that the original logo is based on. Obviously, I know it's a 60s based image, but it just fits. It just fits really well. I think they've really found their footing with the logo. I love the silver version with all the Disney trailers as well. That looks really nice. Yeah, so that was a pretty cool poster. And then finally, just to finish off, it was also announced shortly before the trailer that we were getting a new run of Titan Comics, starting with a brand new Cyberman comic. Now, this has 3 variant covers. The first one has this kind of cool art of Shooty and Millie. The second, which is my personal favourite, has comic art with all the Cybermen on it. And the third is just sort of a standard Cyberman image. Personally, I don't know why you would pick this image. This is by far the coolest one. As someone who's a bit of a Cyberman nerd, I absolutely love seeing all the Cybermen together, so I will definitely be picking this up for the cover alone. And the likenesses for 15 and Ruby are really, really good too. So yeah, we'll be picking this one up no matter what. Love seeing Cybermen designs. If any of you know me, you know I'm a sucker for Cybermen. This does probably mean that we're not going to see the Cybermen in the new series, but to be honest, I'm happy for them to have a break. As long as they're not the lackeys to the Master again, I'll be happy. But that about wraps up the video. If you did enjoy, be sure to give it a like, comment down below your thoughts on anything we discussed today, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you later.